Welcome to my pattern maker course. We are about to begin with level 1. Level 1 will be the pattern of a full suit made of a long sleeve tunic, rather long, and a pair of pants, just like this, with embellishments. The set of tools I'm going to use has been presented in my introduction. And if you want to buy them, you can find them also in my store, online store, at anyacamau.academy. Let's begin. On a sheet of pattern paper, I place the bodice pattern foundation that we've built in the introduction to this course and copied on cardboard afterwards. It's essential to draw a nice straight line for middle front line, so I draw it with my ruler. Then, I place my foundation pattern along that line and set a weight on it to keep it still. Now I draw again the notches and lines around this foundation pattern. I decide that the bottom line of the tunic, that is to say its length, is the full hips line. This length can be corrected later if necessary. I carefully draw around this cardboard foundation. But I don't want to keep the best dart opening on the shoulder. Therefore, I stop my drawing line on the shoulder at the beginning of the dart, and you see that I do not draw at all the end of the shoulder and the armhole line. In the same way, my drawing line stops at the chest line level on the side. Since I don't want to keep this dart opening on the shoulder for aesthetic reasons, I will therefore move it to the bust line. This operation is made by rotating the bust dart. I firmly place the tip of my pencil on the bust point, and then I turn my pattern foundation so that the left notch of this dart comes on the right notch of this same dart. This operation is called closing the dart on the shoulder, which operation opens the dart of the same value on the bust line. I can now draw the second part of the shoulder and then the armhole line, down to the underarm and finally down to the bust line. Then I just have to remove the cardboard foundation and carefully mark the bust point. You can see that the dart no longer exists on the shoulder, but now opens on the bust line, which was the result I wanted. This operation is called pivoting a dart. Now we are going to make enlargements because the bodice pattern is the exact pattern of a body, without any room to move or breathe. It's therefore very important to add some values, that means more fabric, so that the clothing becomes comfortable to wear. To clearly show you how to add enlargements, I will note on each point the direction of the enlargement and its value. These values are not chosen by chance. They are the common values used for enlargements in a medium weight fabric, to draw a shirt pattern or a dress pattern, or just like we are doing now, a tunic pattern. I've drawn in red a new line all around my bodice foundation. That includes the enlargements I gave before to get the pattern of the front of this tunic, which will be large enough to be comfortable to wear. The room added in that way is called ease. I now make a small correction on the bust point location because, as I gave an ease of 2.25 cm along the bust line, it's now necessary to shift this bust point of about the half of its value, that is to say of 1.10 cm, towards the side. You can see that the foundation gets also 2 dots on the waistline. I don't want to close the largest dot, that has a value of 3 cm, because this will give more ease, but I want to close the small dot by moving it to the side, which will give a nice curved line on the side, more athletic. This small dot is 2 cm large at the waistline. So I will take off 2 cm along the waistline on the side and get a nicer side line. I measure 2 cm towards the interior of the bodice and then use my French curves to draw this new side line. I have to make sure that my side line is vertical when it crosses the waistline. Then I join the hips and underarm with a nice curve. To use a French curve, it's generally necessary to draw the curve in several parts while seeking each time the best curve on this tool. When there's a change of bend, it's generally necessary to change the position of a French curve. The most important is to get an harmonious line. Here is my definite line that I draw in red, and I cross out the old line that is no longer correct. Then I note on my pattern the name of the garment, the name of the pattern piece. Here we draw the front piece. I now do the same operation with the back of my bodice. I draw all around the base of the back foundation without the need to turn any dot counter to the front because the back dots are small. I'm going to keep the mid-back dot that takes off 1 cm at the waist. As for the front, I don't close the large dot, which will give additional ease to the tunic, but I will keep the small dot of 1 cm that I will move on the side. I do not keep either the small dot on the shoulder. We will study later in my course what's the purpose of the small dot, but here it's not necessary. I note again all enlargements to show you better values and directions of them, because it's important to do them in the right direction. You can see on the screen the values of these enlargements, and you can also download on my website anyacamau.academy a PDF with all pieces and information about these enlargements. To draw the shoulder in the back, I measure my front shoulder and I set the same length, here 12.6 cm, to my back shoulder line. Since these two pieces will be sewn together, it's important that they are of the same length. You see that these enlargements are very similar to those of the front, except for the neck, which enlargement is always small. At the waist, I move my little 1 cm dot, that is to say, I take off 1 cm at the waist, but then add my enlargement of 2 cm at the same time. In one shot, I will remove 1 cm and add 2 cm at the waist to get my new side line. Here is the definite pattern of the back. You can see that the neck has been moved a little down, the shoulder is the same length as the front, the middle back dart was closed, the underarm was moved down and outside, and the waistline has a nice bend. The length of the cloth has already been defined, and does not move with the enlargements. At the middle of the back, my line is not straight because I have this small 1 cm dot that will give a slight bend to the back. Here, I noticed that there will be a zip ending at this point, which will be positioned like this to be able to pull the tunic by the head and to close it in the back. Now I have to do a small check. Since the side lines will be sewn together, I have to check that they have the same length. Because if you have a difference, you will have gavers along the side seam and it will be ugly. To measure this curved line, I hold my tape measure vertically on the pattern and follow exactly the curve to get an accurate measurement. On the back, I found 41.2 cm. I'm now measuring on the front. You can see that the burst dot is not closed. Therefore, I measure the first line above the dot and then I move my meter to go on measuring below the dot very precisely and still holding my tape measure vertically to follow the line. I want to make sure that both lines are the same length so that the cloth is well balanced. I also find finally 41.2 cm. If you do not have the same measurement, you will need to change the bend at the waist to get the same length for both lines. That's it, we've been through with the bodice pattern. In my next video, we will draw the pattern of the long sleeves of this suit. Well, if you enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my website anyacamau.academy. See you soon!